What's up, YouTube? This is Reaper here. Welcome to our inaugural Cosmic Crucible Live series. And kicking off featuring Tacoshooter, where we discuss a lot of the key things going on in this season's Cosmic Crucible: the good, the bad, the ugly, the counters, what's working, what's not. Should be a lot of good content. So stay tuned, and that video will be right after this. If you like everything you're hearing, make sure you follow and subscribe. Leave a comment below if you have any other ideas or other questions that you would like to see asked in these type of these forums. And once again, I appreciate everyone for tuning in. I'm happy to finally join the YouTube crew. Enjoy.
I'm where I have trouble is I feel like it's not changed up as often as it probably should be. As far as the buffs themselves, I'd like a little bit more rotation, a little bit more randomness.
Yep.
Because after 3 or 4 weeks of it, you just start seeing the same teams over and over again. And so this has been a nice refresher, get to see some new teams, move some stuff around. And I feel like people are still sort of learning a couple different things. So don't get me wrong, like I'm having fun, but I am very much anticipating not having fun soon.
Yeah, I mean, this is just looking at Crucible this week. This is the first time we're actually seeing Underworld now being popped in defense, like not in just a small Underworld, full built, almost 1 million. So it'll be interesting to see how that fights outside of war because there's been no way to test it.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
what's been the most or the biggest surprise so far as teams, like whether it's something you underestimated or something that's been kind of a shock and how you're using it?
Hmm. So uncanny. I really seeing them just decimate other teams, like with the hero buffs and whatnot.
Mm.
I knew that uncanny would be stronger. I didn't anticipate that they would be able to do 400-500K punch ups against these massive gamma teams that we're seeing.
Yeah.
That's by far the biggest shocker for me.
And it's interesting you bring that up, and Remnex is in chat right now. He also brings up that same point, is we are starting to see some people move Gamma into Room 6 because of the legendary buff for Red Hulk to try to like stop that uncanny attack. Have you seen that happen often? And how do you approach that fight differently?
So actually today was the first time that I've seen it, and so I decided to try. So I was chatting with Ceci in chat, and I was like, "Should I try it?" And he was like, "Yeah, go for it," because he's like me, he's a glutton for punishment. And then somebody else recommended doing Weapon X with Dormammu, and I was like, interesting. Pull out Sabretooth, leave Wolverine in because he's got the hero buffs there. So that it's actually a team I was trying to talk Boomer into using earlier tonight in his chat, but his chat goes so fast he couldn't see anything, or he just thought this is a horrible idea. It worked really well until it didn't. Ultimately I needed to to basic and flip some buffs, and instead I did an ult, and I think that sort of backfired on me a little bit. But it worked out pretty well. Obviously Red Hulk was still standing at the end of the match, but did significant damage, and hopefully is going to be a relatively easy cleanup. We'll see. As soon as we're done with this stream, I'll be trying to take down the rest of that. I had to run over here and hop on with you, so we'll see what happens after that. But that was my first time trying that. I have not actually tried Uncanny against Room 6. I personally moved my Gamma into Room 6 after last week because I had somebody do a 500K punch up against my Gamma team, which I was floored. That was the first time I'd seen that. Now, in fairness, I was at TwitchCon. And then I did a road trip. I helped my sister move from San Diego to Tennessee to help take care of my parents, and so that was a really, really long drive. So I was out of commission for a week because of TwitchCon and the drive. I actually was not able to participate at all in 2 rounds of Crucible this past week, and the last round of Crucible the week before. So four of the last 3 of the last 4 Crucible battles I did not get to participate in, so I sort of stumbled a bit, and I wasn't able to really watch Twitch much for about a week either. So I'm not sure when that was discovered, but I discovered it when I got just shit canned by Uncanny that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah. Yeah, Uncanny has definitely been a surprise. I think I've even seen some counters against Tangle Web with Uncanny, using Doom instead of Cyclops, and some having some success. I have not tested that personally myself, but I've seen it, seen it work. It's just a matter of I've just been a little bit of a wimp to try it.
Yeah, I'm scared.
All right, so let's take a second. Let's talk about Tangle Web, because I think when Weaver came out, I think everyone recognized that this team is going to be a problem, and they were a pain in the ass, but still beatable with Weaver.
Yeah.
But then 2099 came out, and not only did it shift the meta just for Crucible, but it shifted the meta for Arena, in a lot of cases as well. So when you look at Tangle Web, like, tell us a little bit about some of the more frustrating moments you've had. And then my follow question to that is really around now that Noir's out, like for the 4th and 5th, what are you seeing as the most tricky combinations that you face so far?
Honestly, none. So a lot of people are getting frustrated by Weaver. I have yet to figure out why people are still putting this team on defense. So in my personal opinion, the best use of Crucible teams, whether it be Unlimited, Wakanda, or Tangled Web, is on offense. And at the end of the day, how do you beat Tangled Web? You go faster than they do. So you throw an Emma onto that team and you just waylay the competition. I just haven't I haven't had the issue that I'm seeing a lot of other people have, and I've been doing very well with them on offense. Aside from like I said, 3 rounds of not even being able to participate, on the rounds that I am participating, I'm winning. So I'm not having that issue, and I would suggest to everybody to take your Tangled Web. If you're struggling with Tangled Web, take them off defense. Problem solved.
That's a good point. Yeah, I don't know if a lot of people think of that. They think that it's the only way that they're going to get a defensive victory that they could potentially be more efficient on. So, but that's very insightful to use Tangled Web on offense. This is the first season where I've been mixing Wakanda in between offense and defense more than ever. Where are you seeing the most value encountering with Wakanda?
So seeing some really big, so a lot of people have huge investment in Axeman, right? So they will just absolutely melt an Axeman team. A lot of people are pairing up Axeman with X Factor. Same thing. The Wakanda will just melt through that pretty quickly. Initially, I was using Wakanda against Gamma in the biological room, in room 5, and so I'm not entirely certain what happened, but like the first 2 weeks of the new Cosmic Crucible, I was just absolutely destroying the Gamma teams with Wakanda, and then something, I don't know if I forgot how to play it, but I went like 3 or 4 rounds where it just did not go well, and I was like, all right, screw this, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm switching over to Uncanny and just calling it a day.
Now, was that revelation after they rewarded the red stars and the yellow stars from the event, or was that pre?
That was pre.
Okay.
Yeah, that was pre. So so when I was winning them, no, I'm sorry, that was after. Yeah.
Okay, it was
so
after.
It was after. So it was working very, very well. It was working very well until all of a sudden it wasn't.
Yep. What about?
I do chalk up the wasn't to user error. I was clearly doing something that I stopped doing. I just don't know what it was. I'm a reformed pothead. I still have pothead memory.
All right, let's talk about rooms 1 and 2 real quick. This is basically where you throw a lot of filler teams. What do you typically like to go with there? Now obviously, we know Dorky Dad versus Tacoshooter 2 is looming in the distance, but until it does, how are we feeling about what room 1 and 2? I mean, for what I'm seeing so far, it's a lot of Hero Asgard. I've seen some Black Orders in there. I've seen a lot of Wakandas or Young Avengers. What do you like to use for those two non-buffed rooms?
So initially I was putting in so I think it's a good place for Infinity Watch. Though I do have my Infinity Watch over in a biological temperament room. Also it's still a good place for Darkhold or for Guardian Hold or whatever you want to throw over there. They're an easy team to get through, but at the same time, if it can pull your Eternals, then it's worked out well in your favor. So I do still like to put Hero as Guardian over there.
Yep.
Even if they are an easy counter, if you're pulling Eternals, then it's a win. That means they're not using them somewhere else. So those are some of the teams I've played with in there. Also it's not a bad place to drop in your the X Factor and Axemen combo teams. Like there's a lot of stuff you can throw in there. There's better places for a lot of things, but it works out okay. There's options.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, for the most part, nothing really groundbreaking. Even in room 6, because that's the next place I want to go here. Is like we talked about Gamma being moved there in a lot of cases. I think a lot of Crucible started off with either Darkhold, with like a Bishop, or I've even seen people just throw all random legendaries, which by the way is a mistake. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Anything unique that you've seen that has been not necessarily a challenge, because you have unlimited X-Men, nothing's a challenge. But I mean, as far as if you didn't, that could be a problem.
Well, so like obviously right now a lot of people have Gamma Team over there. You've got you're still seeing probably at least I'm still seeing probably twice a week Darkhold with Bishop over there. And then one team that I'm surprised that I haven't seen, because it was a team that I was thinking about putting in there, but ultimately I decided against putting any Crucible teams in. I'm still interested to see how it works. I'm sure I'll go up against it at some point. But I think Wakanda Hold would be a unique team to see in there. I think it could really, really screw some people up. And I could be completely wrong. It could just be a waste of two teams. But I sort of love the idea of sort of pairing Wakanda and Darkhold together in that room specifically.
So what's the composition? Are you saying so? Shuri, obviously, MLF because of the legendary. So who are the other three?
Right. Yeah, so Shuri, Okoye, Black Panther, and then Morgan and one other, probably Agatha, but it wouldn't be a horrible idea to throw on any of the others. Agatha makes the most sense because she's going to draw the assist from Morgan on her basic, and so that's probably what I would try in there if I was going to try it. But like I said, at the end of the day, in my personal opinion, I think it's a mistake to put any Crucible team on defense, especially this season.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think it's a good call out too, because I'm finding so far this has been a very defensive heavy Crucible, where if you don't have the right balance, you're not going to full clear. And I think as these teams are out long enough now that people are starting to figure out more efficient ways to beat them. And now, like I would say, my first couple rounds of Crucible, no one full cleared me, not one person. And now that's starting to happen. Like the last couple rounds, like we're getting to that level where everyone knows what to do. So it's starting to shift. So I didn't know if you saw something similar, or because you're in what, Masters 2?
I'm in Masters. I don't know if I'm in Masters 2. I think I'm in the bottom of Masters 1, honestly, after my
After Twitch, yep.
sort of rough couple weeks. Yeah, I'm currently in Masters 1. It looks like I'll be in Masters 2 after I beat the guy I'm going against in the next I'm anticipating going 3-0 because I'm the best in the world. I'm the greatest ever. You know, I had a rough couple weeks because of things and stuff, and no, I'm just kidding.
That's funny.
But
I don't know. He's probably not in chat, but I would love to see the response.
which one? Who? Not Dorky Dad, because he's running. He's running scared.
He's on. If you look at my ticker on stream, it says Dorky versus Tacoshooter 2 ?
Yeah, it's never gonna happen. It's never that I don't know how. I've never known a Canadian that was so slimy and so slippery and just would run away. You know, all the Canadians I've always known have always, been go-getters and, not willing to run from a fight. Nope, Dorky Dad. Nope, he's got soft cheeks.
It's a fight that we are certainly looking forward to seeing a rematch for, that's for sure.
I don't even know what that means. He has soft cheeks.
So who's been your MVP team in Cosmic Crucible? Your most reliable, the one you like to play with the most. Not necessarily the best team, but the team out after you use Unlimited that always guaranteeing you a win.
I don't know. I mean, so probably I really like using Wakanda. I mean, they're a fun team to play with. Their synergy and how they work, and they're so fast in Crucible, especially. I mean, they just wreck shit. They're a super fun team to play with. But then and I haven't been able to. I'm really looking forward to utilizing my my tangled web at some point against non-tangled web. But so far that's essentially all it's been going towards. Because they're another team that's fun, and so I've got them paired up with Silver Surfer and either Dormammu or Elsa. Elsa's sort of fun to put with them because of her, her guaranteed smack'ems mechanic. If folks get froggy and decide to dodge shit.
So then on the alternative side of that, right? So what's been a typically widely used offensive team that has just been a flat out disappointment this season? I have my pick. For me, I'm going to say it. I think Weapon X has been kind of a letdown.
Okay, so what I'm finding is I am seeing that I have a lot of offense left over, and that's something that I was chatting with Ceci earlier today, and even yesterday. Like he's seeing a very similar situation where it seems like we've got because there's certain teams that you sort of have to put on defense. Just sort of the way this has worked out. These everything is there's a lot more synergy with mutants than there previously was. So a lot of people are going sort of mutant heavy with things that they're putting on defense, and it's leaving a lot of leftover tunes. So I'm gonna try to work with Ceci and Nietzsche and hell, probably Rim and X and anybody else that wants to, a Thame that's out there somewhere. Trying to come up with some fun little combo teams, some hybrid teams that could be useful and fun to play with, because I feel like the standard teams are out there and they're going to be there for a while. But that's the one thing about this game that's always fun, and it's the trying to find a team that can just wreck life and that nobody sees coming. That's a lot of fun, and especially when it works. Sucks when it doesn't, but.
So this next one is probably going to be an interesting take, or I'm really interested to hear your take on this. So looking at like these Cosmic Crucible tags for the teams, do we look at that as a good thing or a bad thing? And then to kind of follow with that, do you like the idea of doing more 3-person teams to give you that open-minded creativity?
I love it. Yeah, I absolutely love that. As far as the Cosmic Crucible, so far, all the Cosmic Crucible teams have not been letdowns. I mean, so so what Wakanda you can use a little bit in raids, right? You've got Wakanda you can also sort of throw on war defense and cause people a headache potentially depending on the size of it. Or you can use it as a cleanup team in war. And then as far as Crucible goes, again, if your Wakanda is on defense, you're missing out. It's a fun team to play with, and you get to use it 3 times a week in Crucible. So,
yep. Now,
yeah.
Now I know the new Wakandans that were quote unquote data mined, right? They're gonna, from what I can tell from the data mines that did come up, and who knows if those will be accurate by the time they release. The Cosmic Crucible tags on the 3 main ones, Okoye, Black Panther, Shuri, are going to transfer over into War. And then they'll get 2 new characters. But do you see potentially any of those 2 characters mix and matching with Wakanda in Crucible? Taking out like an M'Baku or something like that for one of those newer characters.
I sort of doubt it. So M'Baku is so what's his tag? I believe it's like damage reduction or like he's got a significant passive T4. So the way that the synergy that the team has is bonkers. Like obviously Okoye with her rewind and disrupt and everything else. Killmonger is one that could easily come out, but at the same time, if Killmonger can also literally destroy your entire team on turn 1.
Yeah, if he chains between the right people, it's done. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a lower armor. So in Crucible, lower armor by 30% for all enemies with vulnerable. That's massive. So what M'Baku does offensively isn't that big. He does have the the taunt the first time a character goes below 50%, the auto taunt there to sort of bring that damage away from your weaker characters like Black Panther and Okoye. But I'll in Crucible, I'll sort of be surprised if that other team has any impact with this team.
So let me just jump ship over to mutants real quick. How much are you using mutants on offense, with the exception of Uncanny against Gamma, right? Like I think everyone is kind of onto that, so but as far as using others like X Factor, X-23 or Negasonic with that opening all, like have you seen anybody or using or theory craft any of those type of options with the buffs?
No. So I guess it's sort of surprising. I've expected to see some really big random X-Force teams because what does X-Force turn into with that type of power buff? I've been curious, but I haven't seen it, and because mine's not big enough to test something like that. But no, I really haven't. I mean, the Weapon X is, somebody mentioned a little bit of a disappointing team. And I don't entirely agree with that comment, but I don't disagree with it either. I feel like a lot of people were taking Wolverine out and putting M on that team to sort of get speed advantage. And now if you do that, you're neutering the team pretty dramatically. So and pulling out Sabretooth, Sabretooth, what he does with his offense down and bleeds and whatnot,
right.
That offense down in particular is super impactful. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm just having trouble finding good uses for them when I have better options for them, and I always find myself sometimes not even using it.
Yeah, outside of Uncanny and Unlimited, I don't know that any mutants are really getting used at all.
Yeah.
At least offensively.
Initially, I thought in my mind, like, a good combination is if you have a G15 or higher, hopefully you don't have a higher G15 X23, but if you had a G15 X23,
Yeah.
pulling out Kitty Pryde and putting her on that team just for that little extra RNG with what she can do on that, obviously on her ult, and then that ability block, just throwing a little extra RNG into the fight.
Yeah, so I took my X23, so I got a 7 red star X23, and I took her to gear 15 and put her with Gamma when before Red Hulk came out, right?
Yep.
And that it did nothing. Like
So
it
she's
did
just
not
so
work.
power crept at this point that it
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
make a difference.
it did not work. Yeah, that's I feel like Cable. In straight up mirror matches, I have found that Cable it has a little bit better sustain than he did.
Mm-hmm.
But he won't get just one tapped when after Rogue goes first turn. Now it takes 2 taps before he dies. Um,
Well, all right. Well, we're getting down to the last couple questions here. So the next one is really about the rooms themselves. Like, obviously, we know about the Age of X and the global, but how do you like what they did with the rooms this season compared to last, or even the one before that?
I'm not as big of a fan. I sort of like I like the overall bonus. I do sort of like the overall bonus, but the room bonuses themselves, they're definitely weaker than they were previously. Um, the uh, the Spider Mania one again, with the safeguard and deflex, not really. I'm just sort of powering through that, and I'm also not particularly getting defenses from it either. Though I
Yeah.
did recently put Underworld on the full Underworld in that team, so I'm anxious to see how they work out. I didn't even look to see what they did in round 1, but I won, so that worked out okay. The latent power room is weird because you get offense up after your turn, so that's sort of useless. The biological temperament, again, the offense down to random enemies with that don't have offense down, so that works as intended, and it's okay, but it's definitely not the neutering that the
Yeah.
previous room one was. And then the Tales of Legends, I do like that. I think that's pretty cool. I thought we were going to be able to do more theory crafting with it, but unfortunately, haven't quite figured out the appropriate theory crafting there.
There's not even that. There's just not that many great legendaries outside the Horseman. It's a thin pool.
It is a very thin pool. I mean, so you've got the. I mean, there's some good ones. So it brings to mind the Wakanda hold that I was talking about. Like Shuri is a phenomenal legendary character.
Yep.
Jubilee is a phenomenal legendary character. That's one thing that I was running. I was running like a combination uncanny Axemen team in there. And it did okay at first, and then people just started, railing over it. The Black Bolt, of course, is just the donkey that never stops. As soon as you think Black Bolt has outgrown that he's been power crept, all of a sudden in he comes again, just wrecking faces. So there's definitely a lot of solid legendary characters, and then I believe there was the hidden what's his face isn't um uh Magneto, aren't they saying he's getting a
Yeah,
rework soon?
that might depending on when that happens. I don't know when it happens, but if this is still the rooms, then that he may make a major difference.
Yeah, I think he could make a massive
Yep.
difference.
Then what we supposedly Archangel, which I think we're pretty confident that's what it is.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out hopefully this Friday, but um, yeah, I mean, again, the meta is going to shift again, which is exciting. I kind of like that aspect of it, where you got to kind of get ahead of it and change it a bit. Um, so Taco, obviously, I want to thank you obviously for joining Cosmic Crucible Talk. Obviously, I know I'm sure you do as well in your chat, and you have thrice as many as I have, right? So it's really more like people are looking for Crucible content. They want to see more of this stuff, because I think I think people see the value of the rewards. They see the fun of it, the challenge of it, and it's almost like the new war people want to play.
Yeah.
So
imagine that. It's got good rewards and it's doesn't take very long to do.
Yep.
And it's fun.
Well, they got something right,
It's crazy that people want to have fun. Who would have thunk it?
I know it's not for everybody. I mean, it gets stressful though. It can be stressful, especially when you're your opponent went, they full clears you, and you have to clear every single one and not drop a tune. That's stressful.
Oh, so a couple weeks ago, I was going up against Baron, and that's Dorky Dad's arch nemesis, the one that he doesn't dodge, and so literally I thought I lost. I was just I was not having a great war. I made a couple mistakes. I had it just didn't seem to be going very well for me. And then I told the guy, I'm like, I finished my last attack. I'm like, GG, good game. I can't believe, you beat me, blah, blah, blah. And the screen clears and it shows that we're tied. Yeah. And I had the bigger TCP, so I won. I was like, oh, best day ever. Best day ever. Didn't see that coming. I was certain I lost. But nope, once again, I'm the best.
Did you send that result to Mr. Dorky?
Oh, I believe he was in chat when it happened.
Who's the one opponent you want to face?
Rim and X. I want to whip that ass. I want to beat that ass. I want to beat him like a redheaded stepchild. I approve this message. Like Rim and X, I'm coming for you eventually, unless I don't.
That's amazing. Tacoshooter, thank you so much for joining me today. For everyone watching here that is not familiar with Taco, where can they find you?
On Twitch or in Brooklyn. Also on the beach. I like long walks on the beach and dick, so that's my thing.
The great Tacoshooter, everybody. We really appreciate you again. Guys, again, thank you so much for tuning into this. This was live Cosmic Crucible Talk with Tacoshooter. And next week we'll have Purple Sticky, and we'll see what happens beyond that. But once again, this is the GOAT, Tacoshooter. Thank you guys again.